From ClarkWoods.com, this is Horribly Off Topic, episode number 224.
Okay, I was worried you didn't know which one it was.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Steve. What's with
Welcome to...
I'm Aaron Mankey.
And this is Lore. No, I tried listening to a audiobook of Frankenstein
Read by
Aaron Mankey.
Oh, it wasn't by like Boris Karloff?
No, I suppose that Boris Karloff didn't play Frankenstein. He played Frankenstein's monster.
Whatever.
Yeah, so no, I tried, and then I realized that even with Aaron Mankey's captivating voice, Frankenstein is a boring fucking book. So no Frankenstein for me.
Do you have a book on tape of your book yet?
I don't, but here's a thing. So
here's a thing.
here's a thing. Yes. So I was investigating. I've been asked. In fact, I was asked not at my high school reunion, but by somebody that I had reconnected with at my high school reunion.
Who was this?
Her name was Carolyn, so she asked me. When I released Missing Mr. Wingfield, if there would be an audiobook. And I said, I hope eventually, because obviously I have the podcasting equipment, I've got a mic. I mean,
as people are getting older, it's harder to read books with our aging eyeballs.
This is true.
So it's beneficial to have something that you could at least turn up.
Yes.
I mean, you don't have like the like large print version, do you?
No, I don't. But I mean, you can get like a Kindle or something like that, and you can blow up the text if you want to.
Blow up is in large and not
enlarge,
not blow up your device.
Not blow up my device. Not blow up my phone with all your texts. No, so I told her. When did that book come out? 2017. So a year and a half ago now.
It was 2016 that you went to your reunion, right?
2015.
Oh, 2015.
Yeah,
oh, yeah, right. Because you graduated. You were 95. I was 97.
Yeah. And so it was the tail end of 2015. But
yeah, it's usually around Thanksgiving when people are home.
Right. And so...
And don't have too much going on because Christmas or the December holidays tend to be a little bit more hectic.
Yes. So Thanksgiving is a better time because if you can get back home for Thanksgiving, you don't have as
Thanksgiving
much
is the right time.
I thought nighttime was the right time.
Thanksgiving nighttime is the right time.
Nighttime is the right time. Nighttime is that's Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler is whatever that one was that had the Hanukkah song on it.
Hotel Transylvania 3.
Yes, and? Mm-hmm. No. So Carolyn asked, and I said, yeah, I hope so. You know, I have the equipment. I don't have the worst voice in the world. I think maybe I'll do it. But Steve, I don't know if you've noticed, I still don't have an audiobook version of my book.
I don't have the book in here anymore. I put it out in the other room.
No, it was making you feel guilty every time we recorded.
No, I just didn't want to
say I didn't read.
I didn't want it on top of the PlayStation because whenever that was on, it was getting too hot, and I didn't want the book to go up in flames.
Got it. I thought you were just thinking, you know what? I feel guilty. I haven't read my buddy's book. I can't look at it.
We don't need hot books here.
Yeah, because we got a hot podcast.
Yes.
I just haven't found the time to do it, and then I eventually realized, if I haven't found the time to do it, not 2 years later, but quite a long time later, I'm probably never going to do it.
I mean, we do this for approximately 1 hour every week.
Mm-hmm.
If you just devote, like, say, an hour after this or something like that to recording one chapter, you'd be done in no time.
Well, I have read my work aloud before. I had a podcast.
Are you going to do voices like the guy that reads Harry Potter?
Well, there's a different ending to this story, but in my mind, at some point, it was going to be a fully produced, fully cast audiobook in the vein of, I think Neil Gaiman has done it on a couple of his, maybe American Gods and some other ones. But I was going to actually reach out to my actor friends out in Portsmouth and get a whole gang together. And
do it all one day?
I don't know if it was going to be one day, then it was going to be multiple days, and I could get the individual actors in the way that like an animated movie works, where sometimes they're never even in the same
Get
room.
Eddie Murphy in there. He's in and out in one day. He's like, he reads all his lines. I'm the donkey.
Yes, you are.
Hey, donkey.
He's both the donkey and Shrek.
Yes, he does like
He does these impressions.
Mike Myers like got sick of doing the Shrek voice, so he was like, Eddie Murphy, can you do it? He's like, yes, I'm the donkey guy.
Well, so that was what I was thinking, and it was too ambitious. And then I finally was like, oh, maybe I'll eventually just do it myself, and I didn't do that. And then a company reached out to me, or I'd signed up for their service or to learn more about it. Because
you signed up to learn more about it. Did you learn more about it?
I did learn more about it.
Okay.
They were advertised by Apple as one of the easiest ways to get your book into the Apple bookstore. There's a whole other site that is pretty exclusive to getting you into the Kindle store, but this service claims to be able to get you into all of the stores, and so that was interesting to me. And I reached out to them. They reached back and they said, "Here's a, would you be interested in doing it yourself or having someone else do it?" And I said, "Well, I thought to myself, I don't have a lot of money, but if I'm ever going to do it, it probably is going to have to be someone else because I just don't.
Let's see.
I don't find the time."
I'm gonna find something to read here.
Okay.
I've got
Because I'm boring you.
No. I'm just seeing like how you would do.
Oh, how I would do with just okay. Well, so
We'll both read a page.
Okay. All right. We're auditioning for my book right now.
Yes. Okay. So
Okay.
I'm reading the manual for Jurassic Park for Sega Genesis.
Okay.
Nerve-shredding action. Enter Jurassic Park, the ultimate experience. Full stop. In this lush, lost, island preserved, covering thousands of rainforest acres. That seems like a lot.
That does seem like that person needs an editor.
Dinosaurs. Dash. Yes. Dinosaurs. All in caps. Roam, feed, sleep, and breed. They shouldn't be breeding. I'm like
They're all ladies, but nature finds a way.
Right. Recreated from ancient DNA, the most massive, dangerous animals ever known resume their prime.
Their prime directive is it Star Trek now.
Primeval.
And it's life.
Is it
finds a way,
primal?
not primal.
How do you spell primal?
Primal.
Okay, they're spelling it Primeval.
Primeval.
Oh, sorry, primeval.
Yeah.
Okay, I just can't
It's
read.
different. Oh, and
Resume their primeval lives as if the last 65 million years were just another yesterday.
That's a good album title.
Setting up. Set up the Sega Genesis system and plug in Control Pad 1. Mm-hmm. With the power off, insert the Jurassic Park cartridge into the cartridge slot and press it down firmly.
I like it when they press it down firmly.
Turn on your TV or monitor, and then turn on the Genesis power switch. The license and Sega screens appear, and then you're drawn up to the main gates of Jurassic Park. In a few moments, a game demo will begin. Press the start button at any time to return to the title screen. Press start again to bring up the main game menu, and once more to start the game.
Do video games still have manuals like this? I mean, this seems
Okay, you read
not just rudimentary, but kind of like, I mean, and people who know me know that the reason that I suck at video games is because when we would get a video game,
you wouldn't read the manual?
No. For Christmas, when we'd get a video game, my brother and my father would sit down with the video game on the floor with whatever console, whether it was the Intellivision or later the NES.
I apparently wrote down some passwords in the back.
Oh. And they would then toss the instruction manual back to me. And so I would read the instruction manual while they played the game. And so in theory, I knew how to play the game and should have been great at it. But in practice, because I was always the last one to play the game, I sucked because I would watch them. I'd watch them get really good at it, and then I'd sit down to play it, and I'd suck, and I'd go, well, I read the whole manual. How come I don't know how to do this? And I'd get frustrated, and I'd move on.
See right here where it's this bottom part where like it apparently got wet a little bit, and like some of the...
Why did it get wet, Steve?
I don't know.
Did they push it in a little hard?
Chris. This is why in my industry we follow good documentation practices.
Oh.
Because notice right here, this is like a ballpoint pen. So
Yes.
if that got wet, it's not going to run. But like a gel ink pen, if it gets wet, will run. So therefore, when you're writing something down on an official document, you want to write it in either blue or black indelible ink. So if something does get spilled on it, the ink won't run, and you'll be able to still read what you wrote.
I'm learning.
Right, you're going to read Grant stranded in T-Rex territory.
Right. So how's this going to work? Are the listeners going to vote on who gets to narrate the? No, okay. Just you and me at the end of this. We're going to say, is it Steve or is it
It's
me?
probably you, because I keep on tripping over words and can't fucking read primeval.
All right, let's see. Grant, stranded in T-Rex territory. Dense, dark clouds have packed the sky for days, smothering the horizon in all directions. But your research can't wait. So you head out in a parked vehicle, crisscrossing the island with your head full of questions and your notebooks filling with scientific data. You're all the way across the island when the rain starts to pelt your vehicle's roof. Then the storm kicks up, and as the wind whips through the jungle palms, your hopes weaken. You round a turn, headlights shimmering on the electrified fence ahead, and its identifying sign, T-Rex. With a piercing flash,
you don't need to
lightning
read anymore. It's fine.
No, I'm good. All right.
I think it's a good indication that neither of us are any good.
Hey, I think I'm all right. I didn't have any practice. You're asking me to read something cold.
Yep, reading something cold. I did the same thing, Chris.
Well, and I think I did better than you. I'm just gonna say I don't often pat myself on the back, but I'm gonna say
You had a better section to read. I was just reading. This is Jurassic Park. Dinosaurs.
This is a
primeval
Unix system. I know this.
And then I read how to use it into your Sega Genesis.
So the end of the story is that they asked me who I
think the end of the story is they get off the island. Not everyone. I mean, I think the lawyer got eaten.
Yeah, and then the Newman gets eaten by the little one, little dinosaur that spits it.
One of the things that I always found strange was like, and I don't remember them bringing this up in like the Jurassic World sequels, whatever, but like. In that scene where Newman gets the poison goo shot at his face,
yeah,
and then he's getting ripped apart. They zoom in on the shaving cream can which he had the samples in, and they kind of spend a little extra time on it being like covered up by like mud or something like that. And
yeah. Is that what
I thought like in a sequel it would have come back,
but now spoilers for the second Jurassic World. Unless somebody digs to the bottom of the ocean, they're not gonna.
Well, I mean, they can get more dino DNA,
right? But somebody would have to like find the piece of the island that blew up.
No, I was thinking it was just like somebody just exploring the island, after the dinos were gone or whatever, and found it or something like that, and then maybe that's how Jurassic World started. But I guess they just used the same technology they did before to get a Dominus Rex or whatever the fuck.
Maybe Rocket Raccoon is going to find it while he's looking for Star-Lord, and then he stumbles across this other Star-Lord looking motherfucker, and he's like, "Hey, you look like my buddy," and he's like, "I don't have any idea who you are, and why are you a talking raccoon? What has InGen been up to now?" So
you saw the trailer for the Avengers 4.
The end game.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think?
The big game, like 30-second spot, or like the original 2-minute trailer that came out like a month or so ago.
There was a 2-minute trailer?
There's a longer trailer that came out, was it a month ago, 2 months ago? It was a little while back. Yes, I saw that one. And there was one that played during the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Which I call
It was the first act break, or well, not act break.
It was the first commercial break.
Commercial break.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And then later there was a Captain Marvel trailer. What did I think of the Super Bowl one? I thought it was good. The look that Chris Evans, that Captain America gives in the trailer, is really interesting because it feels almost too natural. He gives this like he screws up his face in this way of like he's frustrated, but it feels like a thing a real person would do and not something they would ever show us in a Hollywood movie. Like it feels a little too, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I've never seen someone make that particular.
How many
face.
times have you watched it so that you've focused on this expression on Chris Evans' face?
It's a close up shot, and the most of that 30 seconds moves by pretty quickly. But
yeah, that's how I'm like wondering how you even remember what his face looked like.
Well, because I pay attention to crazy details and obsess over them, which is something I could talk about. I learned something about myself in therapy this week, which maybe.
Oh, is that what we're?
I don't.
Did Dan ever get back to you about the Chris's
no,
therapy corner?
I have not heard Chris's therapy corner theme song yet. Dan, if you're out there, if you missed last week, we need a theme song for when the show turns it. Not a theme song, a jingle. No,
I think it should be a theme song. It'd be like, "Hey everybody, it's time for Chris Therapy Corner" or some shit.
The or some shit is very important. No, so in that trailer, there's very few shots that they linger on. It's
only 30 seconds.
It's only 30 seconds, and so I feel like that particular shot of him making that face gets more frames than pretty much any other scene that they show in the 30 seconds.
I'm surprised.
And so that's why I paid attention.
It just surprises me that you, even in your crazy house, were able to pay that much attention to anything for more than 5 seconds.
Well, my girls had gone upstairs. They got full possession of the big upstairs TV. They were watching whatever the hell they wanted. Stephanie, me, my mom and dad were watching the game, and it just so happened
that your dad wasn't screaming at the top of his lungs for 5 seconds?
Well, he was at the very beginning of the trailer, and then I made some noise or gesture that made everyone go, "Oh, we need to stop, because this is Chris's Super Bowl right here." The Super Bowl was my Super Bowl because, of course, my team won, and as boring as the game might have been,
it was a defensive match.
Okay. We were not going to talk about it because we were like, let's not. Beforehand, we decided we weren't going to talk about it.
Did we?
I don't know. Anyway, so they all kind of took one look at me, and I was like, it's kind of like that. Like I was taking a shit, and I held up my hand. Like, stop, I'm taking a shit.
Yeah, because that's usually what happens when I'm taking a shit. There's usually some guy standing right outside the window, and I'm like, cut the shit. I'm trying to take the shit.
I'm just going to say, the next 3 or 4 times I watched it was probably while on the toilet, because it was 30 seconds. I was like, all right, I'm going to take care of business. I'm going to watch this trailer.
So you're masturbating to the 30-second trailer?
No, I took a shit. It took me about 30 seconds to take the shit, and I watched the trailer.
Bachman Turner Overdrive, taking care of business.
Yep. I got a healthy colon.
Do you?
I don't know, but
do you eat a lot of vegetables?
I can push one out. I'm just saying. Sometimes I push too hard, and then my prostate's not happy. I'm just gonna say.
Do you eat a lot of veggies?
No.
Okay, then you probably don't have a healthy colon.
No, probably not. Yeah, I wish veggies were. I wish veggies were good. I just really do.
They are. They're very good for you.
Those are two different things. Good for you and good. That occasionally there's like they overlap in the Venn diagram, but it's a very small.
What is the occasionally, Chris? I want to see what healthy things you eat.
What vegetables I eat?
Yeah, in general.
Lettuce.
Like iceberg lettuce.
Well, okay, so lettuce, kale, any sort of leafy green that's part of a salad.
Okay.
I will go for.
Like, because iceberg
not
lettuce-
fucking cabbage. Keep the cabbage the fuck away from me.
raw cabbage is fine. Cooked cabbage is kind of blech.
Yeah. Although I was listening to a thing this week where they were trying to make the case that we hate cooked cabbage because of the way it's been prepared for us.
Yeah, because it was like fucking boiled dinner, fucking boiled meat and fucking boiled cabbage is disgusting.
And so what this person was, it was a recipe he'd picked up in college, and he calls it sausage night, and all of it sounds really good until the part where he mentions that it's got cabbage, and he's like shut the fuck up, you guys, you hate cabbage because you've never had it prepared right, and the way he described it was that you were cooking it only until and keeping it still with a certain crispness to it, right?
Yeah. Because you don't want mushy fucking...
Right. And so what occurred to me is like, so I know that the smell of boiled dinner, so corned beef and cabbage, makes me gag. I can't be in a house where it's been made, I will feel the need to vomit. And I'm not exaggerating.
Feel the need, or will you?
I haven't yet, but it's pretty strong. Like I learned to cope with it by getting out of the house. Is basically and I don't like to deny my Stephanie and my dad both love it. Nobody else in the house does. So they will get it around St. Paddy's Day. That's the one time of the year they'll get it.
Get it? Like from where? Like
usually the Legion. I think the last time they got it, it wasn't very good though. So I don't know if they're going to keep doing that. But they know or at least Stephanie knows the effect it has on me, and so I'll kind of
go to an Irish restaurant instead of going to the American Legion.
Yeah, well, that would require spending some actual money to get actually good food.
Oh, okay.
Which Stephanie would do, but like this is primarily a dad-driven thing, and he does not want to spend money. We're kind of on a tangent of a tangent of a tangent.
It's fine. Let's keep going.
But man, like I did my taxes pretty much like February 1st. I did them almost as soon as I could do them, and then he realized that I'd done them, and so he was looking for my help, and he's like, all right, so I want you to try to help me do have we talked about this? Do TurboTax free again, but if they try to charge me something, I'm not doing it.
You were yelling last week about him complaining about TurboTax.
Yeah, and so so we tried it didn't work. So I was afraid the Super Bowl, I was going to have to listen to him talk about how TurboTax is false advertising because you can't really file for free.
Yes, you can if you are a single person filing a very basic return.
Right. So anyway, now I'm backing up the stack. Where was I? Corned beef and cabbage dinner, cabbage. Oh, vegetables.
Yes. So what other vegetables besides...
So leafy greens in a salad.
Tomatoes?
I don't love tomatoes, but I will in small doses and fresh, especially if they're
who's fucking eating shitty old tomatoes?
I don't know. I feel like most of the tomatoes that I don't know.
What's that? A gross tomato? I'll try it.
No, I don't. Here's my thing about vegetables is texture. And I
get that. I don't eat oatmeal because of texture, but also because it has a shitload of carbs at this point. But prior to...
It was about texture.
Yeah.
But like the texture of... it's texture and taste in the combination, right? So the texture and taste of a tomato on its own, I think, is repulsive.
But you like ketchup.
I love ketchup. I love tomato sauce. So when you add tomato to something else...
Like
great.
sugar
and vinegar, yeah, absolutely. I'll go to town on it. But I've recently taken to putting some tomatoes in tacos on taco night, but I find that it takes very little for the tomato proportions to go overboard, and for me to just like feel like the entire taco is ruined. So like that's why, like, there's is it Sweet Green? I think it's Sweet Green in Harvard Square and elsewhere. I think they're a chain. They make a kale salad that has the proper proportions of tomato in it. So,
All right. So what else? Onions. I mean, I don't.
Onions for sure. Yeah.
You don't like them?
No, I love onions.
What?
Love onions.
What the fuck is wrong with you? You love onions, but you hate tomatoes.
Onions onions make things tasty.
Onions make things smell like a ball bag.
Well, maybe I like ball bags. I don't know.
I guess so.
So onions, green peppers, red peppers.
Green peppers, red peppers. I'm with you there. Broccoli?
See. No way in hell.
So you might have the gene.
There's a gene?
There's a gene that makes it so people don't like broccoli.
Well, more than anything, broccoli is the texture, and both.
Well, then it's not the taste. Then, well, then you
well,
don't.
It has no taste. I mean,
it does. If you had the gene, you would be repulsed by the taste.
Okay. Well, it's mostly about the texture. Same thing with green beans.
So is it the cooked texture? Because if you eat broccoli raw, it's not.
It might be the cooked texture.
So eat it raw, or when you steam it for like fucking 30 seconds.
Okay.
So it's just slightly cooked.
I don't cook the food in my house, and this is it's a blessing and a curse, right? So like my mom
just put a little bit of water in a pan, put the top on it.
My mom loves to make everyone happy and make everyone enough food and make sure that everyone eats. And that is great, and it works for us because it takes a lot of pressure off our shoulders. But she
you cooked the shit out of it.
But she cooks them the same way she's always cooked them, and my dad loves it. And so, like, why am I going to be an asshole?
What did you do before you moved in? Just you've never had broccoli, never even tried to prepare it,
Stephanie would like that stuff, and she'd get the girls to eat it, and I would just not.
Just pout in the corner. I'm not eating broccoli.
It's gross.
I'm like George Bush. Rest in peace.
Yeah. No. Rotten hell, George Bush.
All right. There's different gradients of presidents that we don't find favorable, Chris. And I'm going to say that George Bush Sr. was on the okay. Every president has gotten us into a fucking war.
No, that wasn't what I was going to talk about. I'm trying to remember because I remember seeing a lot of shit.
Or perpetuated a war,
from
or done
underrepresented communities about, him and Reagan together and their unwillingness to
they
were
shitty.
AIDS and
they were shitty,
yes.
But they compared to what we have now.
What we have now is incompetent and self-obsessed.
And
let's not continue. It would be the rest of the show.
So we let's not say rot in hell.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You made some policy decisions that were shitty, but he also wasn't a fucking bad guy.
Okay, how about this? Chill in limbo, George W. Bush.
All right. You and your belief in an afterlife here.
I don't.
Apparently,
I don't. He is a slowly rotting sack of meat wherever he is, pumped full of drugs, or not drugs, pumped full of chemicals to make him look like a human being
for the rest of time, or at least
for the rest. Well, at least for the funeral.
No, I think it's a decent amount of time after that.
Yeah. So I mean, whatever. So he'll eventually rot.
All right, enough of that. But
I don't know if there are any other vegetables that what other vegetables can you think of?
I don't know. Fucking cauliflower.
No.
Same thing as broccoli.
Yeah, it's a texture. Asparagus. That looks gross.
Asparagus, I don't mind eating, but I dislike the next day when I pee and it smells like asparagus.
Yeah, I don't know.
So those things like that and like sugar smacks, like.
What? Sugar smacks have that kind of weird effect?
Buy some sugar smacks. Will you eat those?
They're too sugary. I mean, I would. No.
Hold on. The smallest box they have.
Okay. So there's a difference between it's not that I dislike sugar smacks.
Golden
it's just
Crisp.
that, I already am eating unhealthy. I would like to not eat any more unhealthy than I already do.
Get a small, get the variety pack of Kellogg's cereals.
I just want to be clear
Eat
about
the
that.
Sugar Smacks, the teeny box. Give the rest to your kids, and then you can try it without fucking having an entire full box
without getting
cereal.
diabetes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh, what is that?
Oh,
I can't say
that.
Yeah.
No, I almost read it out loud. I was like,
I almost did too.
Fuck. No, can't say that. So we were talking about vegetables. I think we covered that. What were we talking about?
What did you want to talk about at the top of the show that we did not?
No, but we haven't even gotten off of the intro to the show yet.
Who gives a shit?
Imagine the way that I used to do show notes, right? And we're now like layers and layers deep in the
So we've gone from numbers to letters to bullets to
yes.
different bullets to different bullets to
yes.
even more different
we need
bullets.
to get back up to the Roman numerals.
What was the Roman numeral?
All right, so the Roman numeral I think started. Was somewhere in there. We got to talking about audiobooks.
Yes,
right? And so I need to tell you the end of the audiobook story.
Okay.
And I think before
we get off track again.
Before that, I can't remember what it started off as. Oh, Aaron Mahnke. And
I'm Aaron Mahnke.
Yes. Okay, so if we get through audiobooks, we're back to the start, and then we can maybe get to what I was going to talk about at the top of the show.
Okay. Please do.
So the company had a survey, this company that reached out to me. They said, what type of person are you looking for, male or female? Are you looking for particular accents? So I filled out this survey, and then they went
Did you want an Australian accent?
I did not, no. Although it's I think I could get Australians.
You should have got, I want a Mike Myers type.
I have Scottish.
I'm the Shrek guy, Donkey! Missing Mr. Wingfield! Chapter 1.
Chapter 1. No, that's Scottish.
Yeah.
Sorry. Wait, no, I was doing the right thing.
No, yeah, you do want Scottish.
Chapter 1. The day that Tracy Silver was called... No, I can't remember the fucking first sentence. All right, so...
get in my belly!
Get in my belly! When Tracy Silver was called to the principal's office to answer for the pantsing of Brian Meltzer, the first question she was asked was, is he the first boy to break your heart? I know the first line.
That's good.
So they... They asked me these questions. I sent them my answers. And they sent me back, I don't know, it's close to a dozen different narrators and their rates. So, so each narrator had a rate per hour that it would cost for the finished product. And they were reasonable. They were out of my price range, most of them. But I was like, for shits and giggles, I'm going to pick my two favorite, and I can ask for free for a sample. And so right now I picked two, and I sent a request for a sample.
Here, I don't have a sample.
What?
Because money and time's just what we don't have. I'm just doing the Parappa part of Parappa the Rappa in whatever song it was.
Yeah, so I'm waiting on that, and I guess if one of the two women really knocks it out of the park, then I'm going to have a problem, because I don't really have the money to pay for it. But I would really like there to be an audiobook version. And this comes into all sorts of other things I'm dealing with lately in terms of Clark Woods and it as a business, and what's sustainable, how do I make money? How do I make the business actually not operate at a loss for the first time in its existence, which is kind of my goal this year. Yeah, but it would be nice to have an audiobook. So,
okay.
I don't think Aaron Mahnke's going to do it, though.
Hi, I'm Aaron Mahnke, and this is Lore.
So here's what I wanted to talk about.
How long did we go off on?
34 minutes.
Okay, so half the show.
Half the show.
More than half the show.
Before we got to...
the first thing you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, this was not even... and now I got to write down what was the other thing. The other thing was...
Don't fucking distract yourself.
Therapy.
Therapy spoken by Chris.
Therapy spoken. There's the title. The photo will have to be of Eddie Vedder. Eddie Vedder from the Jeremy video. Okay, good. I'm good. I mean, I have plenty of time to get this episode up, so I could go back and listen through the whole thing and find another title.
No,
but
that is the title.
That's the title. All right.
Once I'm in consensus with you.
Yes, and that doesn't
Usually,
often,
I usually disagree. Like I'll be like, ugh, that's what he picked.
Right. Last week there were plenty of good ones, and then I didn't have time to go back through it, and my notes were all gone, and so I ended up with the one which was like.
I don't even think we said it on the show. I think I said it prior to the show.
Mm-hmm. It was in a text from you to me. Yeah, Super Bowl, or I don't know.
It was in, like, imagine it being read
Super
by
Bowl
Coach
Podcast. Okay. So here's what I was going to talk about. I don't know that this is that interesting in this main topic. Maybe over in like 1/15 of the time that we spent just now on our first tangent.
Okay.
But I don't know if you've. So
you ever noticed this?
Have you ever noticed that? So I listen to way too much self-help. I'm always looking for external validation that I'm not a bad person, that I'm doing things correctly, and this like it's like an overarching theme of my life. And so I have picked up the wisdom over the years that you should take your social media off of your phone, right? Like this is a thing, you should do a social media detox, take all this shit off your phone so you can be more productive. And I actually want to chafe and argue against that common wisdom and say that, okay, when you first used the phone, back when you were a kid, right?
Yes.
What did you use the phone for?
To call a friend.
To be, would it be fair to say that you were using the phone to be social?
Right, but
wait,
no, I'm gonna interrupt you here
because you already see where I'm going. You're trying to counter my argument.
So, but there are people that enjoy talking on the phone. Yes. I'm not one of those people.
Okay,
so I would use the phone as a way to be social in real life.
Okay. Fair enough.
So
I don't think that necessarily means that we're going to disagree on the point that I'm trying to make.
Okay, but like you can easily be at a house, go on to Facebook, say, I'm going to be at such and such, blah, 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 blah. And in an extreme emergency, you can go on to your web browser on your phone and log into Facebook if you don't have the fucking app installed.
For sure.
So it's not like you can't do it.
But it's kind of a small, maybe too nuanced point that I want to make here, but it's just that why are we trying to make our phones? I think we have the problem backwards, is maybe what I'm saying. Too many of the people that I have listened to this advice from are trying to make their phones be things that they do a lot of work on. Now, I'm not saying you can't do work on them. I have my work email on there in case of a pinch if I need to make sure no house is burning down, metaphorical, not real houses, as I work in an office. If I have to make sure there are no fires to put out, I'll open up my Outlook. But I don't take my Outlook off of my phone altogether after every time that I use it. I just tuck it away in a folder where I don't have to look at it. So I think that this common wisdom about like social media detoxes and taking it all off of your phone is not the real problem. The real problem is that we're trying to do too much with our phones and make our phones the center of our fucking life instead of letting them be good at what they're good for, which is playing stupid games and taking pictures and being social. And if you're not doing one of those three things, and I agree with you, the being social should, for the most part, if not altogether, be about trying to organize things in real life.
Right.
Whether that's short-term or long-term. I mean, if it's a friend across the country, maybe it's we're planning something or we're working towards something 2 years from now.
But, you can also, instead, if you are close enough to this person, text them and have a conversation that way.
Yes, but there are some friends of mine, for whatever goddamn reason, that Facebook is the way to get in touch with them. And So I don't have Facebook on my phone. I think there are instances where you don't put it on there because they are the app is a bad actor in some way. Facebook and Messenger are known to sort of spy on you and do terrible things. So I don't put it on there. But I don't think I want to take Twitter and Instagram off of my phone, because on the odd occasion that I do want to pick up my phone to fiddle and be social, I don't want to. I want to be able to just do it and then put it down. I think by thinking this way, I have gotten much more progress towards my sort of ideal life with my phone than I ever did with all of the many times I took the apps off my phone.
Well,
because like, for instance, today when I get up in the morning on Saturdays to write, I don't look at my phone at all. I use my phone as a flashlight to get into, because my kitchen is right next to my bedroom and I don't want to wake anybody up. So I use it for a flashlight to get my breakfast ready after I've exercised. And then I turn the flashlight off and I put the phone on my dresser, and I don't look at it again until round about noon when I'm done writing. And in today's instance, I'm looking to make sure, are we still podcasting at the same time or whatever. So all my apps are still on the fucking phone, but I'm I'm dealing with the root problem, not the dumb ass superficial thing.
I mean, the importance of the phone is to be able to be in contact with others, and then I forgot for the first time in a very long time, I think a couple of weeks ago, I forgot my phone at home.
Okay.
And
wow, how did it feel?
It was weird, and it would be weird. So say you were just transported back in time to the year you graduated high school, but you were you. Yeah. But you were you with everything that's already happened to you in this timeline.
Right. So we're doing a quantum leap. It's
quantum leap into yourself,
into our old self.
If you're looking at the YouTube video of your graduation, and you're seeing,
somehow I get sucked in there.
Yeah, you get sucked in like Captain N the Game Master.
Almost exactly the plot of like a future short story.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah. And so then you're like, you will probably be really uncomfortable because you won't have that. You won't have that ability to be able to instantly reach out to almost everybody you know.
Well, I don't totally disagree with you, but I will say, and maybe this is just a particular time and place and life thing for me. I was waiting for you to do the whatever. That's over. That's not a bit anymore.
But I'm just trying to not steal too many other bits from Bill Burr.
I remember one of the things I missed most about college once I left. And so college for me is 95 to 99. Certainly there were cell phones out there. Some of my friends might have had cell phones by the end of the years we were there. I don't think anybody still had a pager. Maybe at the very beginning there was one or two people that had.
I mean, the iPhone didn't come out till like 2007.
Yeah, so I'm talking
2007.
Not even flip phones. You're talking like meaty candy bar phones.
Yeah.
In 1999. So and I say some because it might not have been anybody.
I like the expression meaty candy bar. That's not going to be the title.
Well, I
better keep it as fucking.
No. But I'm going to put say something about meaty candy bar phones in the description. So at any rate, one of the things that I missed most about college once I left was the way in which we had a very small campus, and if you wandered back and forth across campus, there was a serendipity to like who you might bump into and what conversation might happen that was entirely lost when I went to college, and then seemed like it was entirely lost to the world once phones and social media sort of took over. Because there's serendipity in different ways, but it's kind of like every social interaction is kind of planned and plot. I don't know. It just doesn't feel the same. And so if you told me I'm going to be sent back to 1995 and I'm going to be graduating high school and then I get to go off to college in a couple of months with all the knowledge I have now, I'm not going to, I don't know. I'm not going to care about my phone eventually. What I'm going to be thrilled about is that I get to relive some of the best years of my life.
But what if you fuck up somehow and like don't end up with your wife?
So it really is quantum leap.
Yeah.
Right? Like
what if you like change something, you do something because you are going to be a different person.
Right.
Because like who you were fucking 25 years ago.
So you don't think I'm any Marty McFly here? There's no way that I can in Back to the Future 2. There's no way I can keep shit going the way that it should.
I don't think so. Like to do everything that you had done. Like when did you meet Steph?
Well, technically, we first met in 1995 on the porch of the Humanities House at Bradford, but we didn't know it. So we really first bumped into each other the end of sophomore, beginning of junior year. So
because you might have
97, like 2 years.
You might have been
later.
a little bit too overzealous and might not have met her, or you might not have connected.
So I guess, yeah, so that's interesting. Is you mention it that way, and so what I immediately go to, because I've spent so much damn time writing that damn book, which you should all buy if you don't own it already.
Which one?
Missing Mr. Wingfield.
Okay.
In that book, there are scenes in which Veronica, the main character, is passively observing. She eventually becomes very active in it, not in a way in her past, not in a way that changes anything, but anyway, but there are moments where she's just sort of watching the way things happened. And so that is in my brain. What I thought you were proposing to me is that I get to go back and I get to just watch it all play out.
No, you have to actually actively be you.
What do you think's more torture?
What do you mean?
So if you get to actively be in it, right? And of course, knowing that it's different it's different for you and I now that we're married. But let's say,
just to be clear, we're not married to each other. I mean, not that there would be anything wrong with that.
What I'm saying is that we are content. We are actually pretty happy overall with where our lives.
I would agree.
Okay, so for us, it would be more dangerous and whatever to be faced with the prospect of possibly changing something that would fuck everything up.
Yeah, I mean, because yours would be less likely because you would have met your wife pretty soon
thereafter, yeah.
But I didn't meet my wife.
But here's what I'm saying is that for us, since we're content, that option is more frightening. But I think for the younger us, that they would have embraced the notion of getting to go back and maybe change something and been frightened by the fact of having to relive all of that shit and having to watch themselves make the same damn mistakes over again and not be able to do anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, I probably I mean, I would have really if I was zipped into grabbing my diploma, Steve.
Yeah,
I would have been like, yeah, I'm not going to fucking Bentley.
Okay, right?
Like I already would have saved some money there.
Yeah,
immediately.
Yeah, this is a very interesting question, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, so would you miss your phone?
I think, like you said, I think it would be a culture shock immediately.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it would be something that you would just get used to.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
just like in the reverse, we have gotten used to having them.
Right. Yeah. The other day, Stephanie usually wakes up about 45 minutes after I do, and it's usually timed such that I've done my workout, I've come back upstairs, made my English muffin, poured my orange juice. But I
was wondering how you made breakfast and maintained such quiet, but you're just putting an English muffin in a toaster,
which has its own problems, and I would like to change that, but and make it less carb based and actually get some protein, especially since it's usually happening right after.
You can hard boil eggs.
I don't know if I've had it. That sounds really weird. I don't know if I've had a hard boiled egg.
Not even at Easter time.
I feel like it was one of those things that was maybe presented to me when I was young and when I was even more grossed out by food than I am now, and I probably said no. Yeah.
Do you like
I like eggs.
Okay, so
yeah.
try.
I'll have to try it.
Try like hard boiling one. My suggestion is to get a little salt and pepper and put it on there.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, it kind of has like a weird.
Yeah. I feel like I've had, are they deviled eggs where you hard boil it and then you cut it in half and you
mix up the yolk with some paprika or some
yeah.
other
So
shit.
I feel like I might have had that. So I've had like half a hard boiled egg.
So yeah, I mean, the only difference is that the yolk is not all mixed up and it's usually more dry.
Right. What the fuck
So
was I
yeah,
talking
have some
about
hard
before?
boiled eggs. There's some
so-
protein in the morning that isn't
Yeah.
like an English muffin.
Well, I got the Chris Hemsworth workout app coming my way this week, so I'm gonna work out and mindfulness and recipes. So I put my eggs, no pun intended,
In one basket.
into that basket in the hopes that Chris Hemsworth is gonna help me out. So anyways, there'll be moments where Stephanie and I will have our phones like in each other's hands and kind of be like ships passing in the night. And I had that moment the other day. I was like, this is so weird. She's using her phone to kind of get from her side of the bed to the bathroom without having to turn on the light. And I'm using my phone to get from the kitchen to the seat we have two chairs at the end of our bed to sort of get to my seat. And we're just sort of like gliding past each other, trying not to bump into each other. And it's like our phones are fucking attachments to our hands. I don't know. It was.
I think the phone is a bigger problem than because it becomes something that you just do. I mean, that's why like a number of, what is it? Around my birthday, I think, was when I decided to stop playing like a considerable amount of games on my phone. I just deleted like most of them. I think the only one I kept was Pokemon Go, which was the one that I use when I'm walking around.
Right.
Like outside in the world, like not when like I'm around. Like it's not something that you can easily play when you're around other people unless you are walking with other people.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't disagree with you. I just feel like I feel like there's a next step up that we're not always confronting when we just delete things.
No, I mean, it's I don't know what the solution is. Like I
think the solution is delete
if we get
it.
like
if it makes you feel better, delete it. Like I'm not trying to.
No,
I
I'm
feel
just
like I'm shaming now, and I don't mean to be shaming.
No, I'm not. I don't feel like you're doing that. But like getting like somebody like a sociologist on here, and maybe going into depth what they think. I mean, because they study this shit. I mean, we're just a couple of dopes yelling into microphones.
Yeah, we're not yelling. Our levels are pretty good.
Okay. Well, I was yelling earlier.
Yeah. And I watched a great thing a couple of years ago that somewhat informed me on this, which was the relationship between especially social media apps and slot machines and that and it was I forget which guy invented this action. I think he has long since come to say that he regrets this UI thing that he made. It was one of the original sort of third-party Twitter developers that first did the pull down from the top to refresh, and then that became so popular that it got built right into iOS and then into almost every app ever, and then into Android. And but I think that guy, if you asked him today, probably regrets it because psychologically, and this is what this presentation I watched was talking about, we get the dopamine hit of pulling down on Twitter or pulling down on Facebook or Instagram, and like, oh, we pull down, and this might be the moment that we see the image or the tweet or the whatever that changes our life or that makes us feel better, and so there is some danger to this stuff. I feel like if you don't also deal with the root of the problem, which I'm doing in therapy.
Oh God, therapy.
If you don't deal with the root of the problem, I think you're just going to keep running into things that cause you that pain.
But back to the slot machine mentality, that is something that that is something our brains are not wired for, because we're wired to, be primitive idiots running around in like the wilderness. We're not meant to be constantly having this sort of stimulation, and because we are, it's probably fucking with a lot of our heads. And there's a reason why I think a majority of Americans are in therapy because
See, now we have the theme song. I mean, Dan, we would still love a theme song or a jingle if you're listening to this, but
well, you got to get it clean because you laughed through the last
yes.
one. So yeah, like what's the newest breakthroughs?
Well, I mean, we only have a few minutes. We only have a few minutes left.
Yeah, well, minus one or two.
Minus what? What are you talking about? It's not. I never
talk about things that you might have cut out of the show.
No. I got to drop a marker. I got to remind myself that there. I mean, not that there was anything that we cut out of the show, but I got to remind myself that there's
something that you're actually cutting out.
I mean,
of the
there
show.
might have been something. There's something to cut out of the show, maybe
at the end.
Ish. At like 50.
Are you going to cut this part out too?
No, this part's funny.
This part's hilarious.
So therapy. Nobody's ever going to be able to guess this, but
we didn't ask you to.
Okay, poorly phrased. So I've been in therapy multiple times throughout my life. The first 3 times were not particularly effective. The middle of those 3 times was somewhat effective because I got some good techniques on dealing with my anxiety. That are still useful to me today. But overall, they only ever really scratched the surface of what the fuck was going on with me. So this most recent time, which started somewhere last year, I don't know how long it's been, if it's been like 6 months or 9 months or whatever.
You can go back into the show notes.
Yeah, well, this most recent time, I went in and I said to my therapist, I says to her,
I says Mabel.
No, I says to her, Amy, you need to not let me off the hook. We need to dive deep here.
There you go, being a man telling a woman what to do.
I'm hiring her as my therapist, and I'm saying, don't let me off the hook. I'm not evil to women. Please don't make it.
Make it more of a request. I'm just kidding with you.
Please, Amy, don't let me off the hook.
Yes, you go. Instead of being like a demand, Amy, listen here.
If you
is her name Amy?
Her name is Amy.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I said, Amy, my previous therapists, they had great intent, but they basically just sort of. They looked at the surface level stuff and they were like, once I seemed relatively happy, which happened really quickly in most cases, because I was like, oh, I have somebody to talk to. I feel good that I'm talking to someone. They would basically after like 6 weeks be like, you're cured, but they would sort of send me away. And so Amy and I have been digging deep on all sorts of things over the past 6 to 9 months. And recently I made a switch in medication. 4 months ago now, so it's been a while. And what's that?
Nothing.
Oh shit. I added Adderall to the mix, which is traditionally a medicine for ADHD.
Yeah, and presidents.
Yes.
Oh wait, only the one.
Only the one. And it had
see if you can guess which one.
It had a dramatic effect, and we were both not startled by it, but we were both like, "Oh, this is great." And it's been known to treat people with anxiety, but over the last few weeks, I've run into a couple of different circumstances where I thought, and she thought, in at least one case, what if he actually does have ADHD? And then the other day, thanks to a side tangent, I was not on the medicine for about 10 or 11 days, which were 11 of the worst days I've had in a while.
Except for last Sunday when we recorded this awesome podcast.
Yes.
And the Super Bowl happened and we won it.
Right.
And then a couple days later, there was a shitty parade that everybody fucking loves. Oh, we'll have the duck boats come through the fucking city again on a fucking Tuesday. And then on the commuter rail going home, the loudest, drunkest Fitchburgians are going to be farting and yelling and smelling like booze. Oh, isn't it just a wonderful day? Instead of having it on, like, say, today, like a Saturday, when fucking people don't have to fucking work. Just saying.
Okay. How do you really feel?
Fuck parades on the fucking parades on a 4th of July when people aren't working. Parades on a Memorial Day, sure. Let's celebrate the troops. Let's do this. People know that parades typically happen on those days. But if you're the kind of person that doesn't give a shit about sports, then you fucking try to get to work and there's fucking a sea of people on your fucking train clogging up and drinking fucking tall boys and farting and being an asshole. Of course they're sitting right next to me. Why wouldn't they be?
Drinking, tall boys, farting, and being assholes. Okay, thanks.
So I'm sick of parades. I think the city, I imagine, pays for this shit. Why is the city paying for this fucking sports club? And the team plays in Foxborough.
Are you saying that's where
the Red
parade...
Sox, the fucking Bruins, and the Celtics play in the city?
So you're saying if they want a parade in Boston, they better become the fucking Boston Patriots?
Yeah, and move the stadium there.
Okay.
Good luck with that.
That'd be a great idea. That just sounds so. That sounds so awesome.
Why would that be fucking awesome, Chris?
I'm fucking kidding.
Oh.
Sorry.
I didn't know if you had glee in your eyes or if that was sarcasm.
No, my sarcasm was so sarcastic that it
went over
like
the
glee.
other way.
Yes.
It's like The Pest is such a bad movie that it's great.
Yes. And no, so I went into therapy the other day. And I says to Amy, I read this article the other day about this ADHD related thing that I think is made up, but when I read it, it almost made me cry because it was so close to
Your fantasy?
No, it was close to exactly my primary struggle in life of thinking that people hate me and of being afraid of rejection and it was like this person had read, it's a cliche, but they'd read my mind and had written. And so anyway, so I couched it that way and I read it to Amy and I said, I mean, have you ever heard of this? And she says, no, but it could be new.
But you know what, Chris? Like, you can't live your life on how other people think of you. Like, you can be a good person, and you are. Like, I was giving you shit earlier.
No.
But you can't, like, because, like, there's going to be people that don't like you because you're a good person. Right. There's going to be people that like you because you're a shithead. There's just, you can't.
Right, no, I understand that. What I'm saying is I read about, and I think I now remember what it was called. Rejection Sensitive Dysphoria, which sounds like bullshit. And so far is not in the little black book that my therapist pulled down from the shelf. But we both agreed that if that is a set of symptoms, that identifying them feels like a step in the right direction for me, because if I identify them, I can now work on them, then, more power to it. So she pulls down the book, and I said, what are the symptoms for ADHD? And she said, well, you want to know? And so we actually right there in the session took it's not a quiz, but basically took the quiz on, do you have ADHD? And so there's 3 types, and I did not have the first type, but then as we went into the second, I had a couple of the things, but you had to have 8, and I didn't. And she starts rattling off the questions for the second type. And so, like, the first type is inattentive, and the second type is hyperattentive. So we were talking earlier about, like, how I pay attention to, like, really minute details. Anyway, so she rattles off this list of questions, and I'm answering
like a border wall.
I'm torn between wanting to finish like the last 2 seconds of my story and just stopping, because you keep making funnies, Steve. You're just a funny guy. That's what I try to do. Anyway, so we think that I have ADHD, which was, and she asked me afterwards, like, how do you feel? And I didn't feel anything in particular, but the more I've gotten away from it, the further distance I've gotten, the more I think, well, and she thinks I probably still also have generalized anxiety, based on other symptoms, but that it's a combination of things, and that's really helpful to me. I don't know. Yeah, it's it was a great end to the week. is what I'm saying.
Okay.
After like 10 or 13 days of my insurance company and my other doctors fucking me over and taking my medicine away, to get back on the medicine and then to have my therapist like do what I asked her to do.
Asked.
What I asked her to do, and
Not what you demanded her do.
and you know, not let me off the hook and like do the hard work. It was cool. So anyway, that's a sappy way to end the episode.
Aw, shucks, everybody.
Say something funny.
You can email us if you want to talk to us about more sappy bullshit. hot@clarkwoods.com is the way you can get in contact with us.
Yeah, and you know, if you like what you're hearing here, you know, leave us a review on the iTunes.
Leave us a review on the iTunes. Maybe we'll get a couple more clicks that are randos instead of you loyal folks. I suppose.
You lovely loyal listeners.
Yes, and if you're new folks, then cool.
Then welcome.
Welcome to the show. We
I
took
hope you
way
enjoyed.
too long of this episode to actually welcome you.
We hope you enjoyed therapy spoken.